Okay, uh, good afternoon or good day to you all. Uh, I'm going to make a short and precise explanation on how you will go about your research. I will be using the format of the National Open University of Nigeria, Department of Nursing Science precisely. So, first of all, we want to know why do we do research or what is a research? Uh, we know that research is a systematic process of inquiry, that is to find out, aim at discovering new information, validating existing knowledge, or addressing specific questions or problems. It involves some stages or steps. So it involves like 8 stages. One is you have to identify a problem, by determining what you want to investigate. For example, you want to find out nurses' perception on uh, how they take care of patient in the hospital. Then you now review your literature. Literature review means you review existing information and studies that are related to your topic. Then you formulate your research objectives or hypothesis, that is proposing a possible explanation of or solution based on the initial understanding. Then you make your design. Design is the method that is how you plan to collect your data. Then the designing may be experiment. You want to do experimental, you want to do survey, observation, or other method. Then you now collect the data, that is gathering information through choosing method. Which method is it? Through experiment, through survey or observation? Then you now go and analyze the data, that is to examine the data to identify patterns, relationship, or an insight. Then you interpret the data, the result that you get based on the analysis. Then you now draw conclusion based on what you have analyzed. Then last stage, which is stage 8, is reporting the finding, that is sharing results either through as a report, publication, or you do a presentation. So that's the essence of research, and we know there's a research approach. The approach is either is it qualitative or quantitative. Qualitative research mostly focus on numerical data and statistical analysis, while qualitative emphasize on in-depth investigation of a particular scenario. So the qualitative is based on number quantities, while qualitative mostly or hardly you can exceed 15, 12 to 18 participants maximum, depending on the saturation of your data. So there are basically two types of research. That is qualitative, that involve quantity, that you can go up to 100,000 participants, while in qualitative your aim is to get your data being saturated. So based on research, the outline on how you are going to write your research, there's what we call the preliminary pages. These are the pages that you do mostly after you are done with your research. after completing chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending on the type. Based on this one, you are going to stop at the chapter 5. But some at higher level, like masters, during your masters or PhD, you can go up to the chapter 6. So in the preliminary pages, we'll be discussing on one, the cover or title page. You have what we call the title page or the cover page. Then that is the outer aspect, outside of the the project. When you do the binding, what you write on the title on top of the cover page is what we call the cover page. Then we have the inside cover page, which is inside the, after you just open, the next page is the what? The inside cover page. So we have like two cover page. One is the outer cover page, then the inside cover page. So then you will have your title page, then the certification page, dedication page, acknowledgement page, abstract, table of content, list of table, list of figures. All these are preliminary pages. So the title page, mostly in the title page, what you need to, the cover page, what you need to write is, one, you have the title of your project. The title of their project, the title should not be more than 22 words. For example, you want to write on knowledge, attitude, and perception of nurses towards documentation. So this is assuming is the title. The word count shall not be more than 22 words. Then you write your the student name, that is your name in full. You start with your surname and then the other names. Then name of the program. Is it BSc nursing, BNSC that you are doing? Mostly here is BNSC nursing. So you write name of the program, you write BSc nursing, then name of the center, that is your center, which is Yola Study Center. Then name of the school. The name of the school is Department of Nursing Sciences, Faculty of Health Sciences, National Open University of Nigeria. So then next you write the title page, then month of the year that you submitted under, that is maybe for example you write May 2024. So then the how you are going to write on the title page, also you include the project, that is a project presented to National Open University of Nigeria, Faculty of Health Sciences, Department of Nursing Sciences, in partial fulfillment of the requirement for the award of Bachelor of Nursing Sciences degree. Then you write the month and the year under. Then the declaration page. The declaration page, you just write that this is to declare that this research project title, then you put the title of your project, was carried out by, for example, I only know one person inside the group who is Anne Sani, is solely the result of my work, except where acknowledgement has been derived from other person or resources. Then you now put your matric number, then you now put your signature and then the date. Then the next one is the certification page. It is only when you declare that you sign, then somebody will now certify. So in the certification page, or which we also call the approval page, This is to satisfy that the research project title was written, then your name, that is your surname first and other names with matriculation number so under my supervision. Then you write the name of your supervisor, mostly Nasiru Bawa Shagari, then as project supervisor, then date, then a place where I will sign, then study center director, then you put the name of the study center director, then you now put the name of the head of nursing department. For now, the name of head of nursing department is Dr. Elizabeth Joseph Shehu. So that's the name of department, head of department of nursing sciences. Then you now make a dedication. In the dedication, you don't need to be writing more than just a word that this work is dedicated to my father, or is dedicated to God, is dedicated to, you only dedicate it to one person. You can't be dedicating to my parent, my sibling, my this one. All these will be on in acknowledgement page. So dedication page, you only dedicate it to one person. You can dedicate it to your dog, to your watchman, to your husband, to anybody who you wish you think play a role in you or in your life. Then the acknowledgement page, which is supposed not to be 1/3 of a page. So assuming now this is a page, this is a page, a full page. So you divide it into 3 equally. 1, 2, 3. So your acknowledgement shall not exceed 1 and 2 of that page. You don't need to fill the whole page. So the ideal thing is this is the page, you divide it into 1, 2, 3 equally. Then the first page, the first part and second part, you now fill it, but the other part you now leave it. I mean, four, you divide it into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you fill the 2, I mean the 3 parts, then you leave the 4th aspect or the part. That is for the acknowledgement page. So in acknowledgement page, you acknowledge your maybe your parents, your supervisor, the head of department, the center director, the center staff, and your colleagues, your children, your spouse, anybody that you wish you think has played a role in your study. You now acknowledge that person. Then we now move to the abstract. Abstract, actually, the maximum word shall not exceed 300 words. When I mean word, it's like if I said note can be added while editing your presentation and are displayed in. So note is one word, can is a word, be is a word, added is a word, while is a word. All these can be done. Maybe you are what is it called? The word, your Microsoft Word will help you. When you highlight, then it will show you how you will now do it. So it will show you how many words you have used. Then the abstract, what is in the abstract, you just make a little introduction of the word of your research. For example, you are researching on diabetics, so you can start by diabetics is so there's 2 types, this and that. In a 1, 2 or 3 lines you explain. Then you now state your major objective, the aim of your study, then the methodology you use, then results, then conclusion and recommendation. Then under, you need to add 4 to 6 keywords. So abstract is just a comprehensive summary of what you have done that encompasses the introduction, which is chapter 1, the methodology, chapter 3, results, conclusion, and recommendations. Then you now form your table of contents. You all know what is table of content. Table of content will tell us what and where that can be found inside your work. For example, your introduction, the abstract that I said. So then in which pages you put the abstract. Then in the table of content, you include all these preliminary pages, but in Roman numbers. Your first number, that is 1, will start at the chapter 1. At chapter 1. So that is, then you now go to your list of figures. All the figures, the pictures that you put inside your work, you now mention them. Figure 1, diagram of human labor. Then you state the page. Figure 2, diagram of a computer. You state the page. Figure 3, diagram of specialist hospital Yola. You state the page number that you drew it. Then list of tables. Table 1, result demographic data of participant, maybe in chapter 4, 3, okay, 4. Then you now state. So this is how you now do your preliminary pages. Then we now go to the formatting of your project. When we say formatting, we mean what type of word you use in the formatting, the style that you use. So the font size, the font style should be Times New Roman. When you check in the Microsoft Word, you see it written font style Microsoft new Times New Roman. Then the font size supposed to be size 12. Then spacing is double line spacing. Then paragraphing, we normally use block style. So all this one, after writing, maybe when you take it to the business center, you tell them this is what you want them to do. This is what you want them to do. So you now tell them that the font style is Times New Roman, font size is size 12, spacing is double line spacing, then paragraphing is block style. So that's for formatting. Then let's look at the chapters. Entirely we have chapter 1 to 5 for your own case. You have chapter 1 to 5. Chapter 1 is the title. Each chapter will have its title. For example, chapter 1 here, the title is Introduction. Then chapter 2 is Literature Review. Chapter 3 is Research Methodology. Chapter 4 is Result or Data Analysis and Interpretation. Chapter 5 is Discussion of Finding, Summary, Conclusion, and Recommendation. So let's look at each chapter and what is expected in each chapter. So in chapter 1, we look at the background to the study. Some of you will be writing background of the study. It's not background of the study, but it's background to the study. In the background of the study, you take your topic. For example, you are talking about liver cirrhosis. So now in the background to the study, you now tell us what is liver cirrhosis in the global perspective. Then you narrow what research has been done on the global perspective, globally. Then you narrow it maybe in the Asian country, European country. You narrow it down to African country. Then you narrow to the South Africa, West Africa, then you narrow it to your country, which is Nigeria. In Nigeria, you tell us what is liver cirrhosis research has been done, what has been done maybe in the southern part of Nigeria, in the eastern part of Nigeria. Then you narrow it to northern part of Nigeria. Then you also narrow it down to your state where you want to do the study. That is your setting. So that is basically what is needed in the background of the study. Then statement of the problem. Statement of the problem actually tell us variable. Clearly you state identified samples. Variables clearly stated identified samples. For example, statement of the problem. What make this my topic a problem? What make research liver cirrhosis a problem? Now you tell us why is it a problem? You state there were issues, many people are dying because of liver cirrhosis, there is no much prognosis, or prognosis is poor, people are having the quality of life of people with it, had this and that. So you now tell us clearly, you state the problem, you make a case here, you try to make a case. That is the statement of the problem. Then objective of the study. At least at your stage, you're supposed to have at least 3 objectives. 3 research objective. Then the research objective should be what? Smart. Your research objective should be smart. Smart means they have to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and then time bound. So in the objective, for example, you want to find out what are the causes of so you have to tell us where specifically. Specific is that you want to do it in Yola, then you must set it in Yola. Specific means you want to do it in specialist hospital Yola, so you have to say among patient in specialist hospital Yola. So when you state your objective shall have these characteristics. Then research questions. Research question, you ask question that will be answered by your research objective. You ask question that will be answered by your research objective. Then for research hypothesis at this stage, you may write a hypothesis or you can skip it. Then significance of the study. Significance of the study, that is contribution of your research. When you do it, what is the contribution to the nursing profession? What is the contribution to the healthcare providers? What is the contribution to the society? That is significant of the study. Then scope of the study, meaning how does it cover? That is the included variables, location and population of study. So you are only after among nurses. So the scope is only nurses in specialist hospital Yola, for example. So it doesn't cover nurses in specialist hospital Kano, Kaduna, or somewhere else, and didn't cover FMC. It only cover specialist hospital. That's the scope. That is your jurisdiction. Then operational definition of terms. This is where we mostly have issue with the candidate writing research. They just take operational definition of terms like anything. You just go to the dictionary, then you define. No. In the operational definition of terms are not dictionary definition of terms. Operational definition of terms are not dictionary definition of terms. So you don't need to go to the dictionary and then pick a definition. It's how you use operational, how you use them in your work. For example, we are nurses, and then maybe you are in nursing. How do I make an example that is so simple that you can understand? Okay. Operational definition of terms. For example, in nursing procedure, when you want to do a nursing procedure, for example, that you said after the procedure, you discard the instrument after the procedure, meaning that after you have done this procedure, you now discard your instrument. If you talk to a layman and tell him that, okay, discard the instrument after the procedure, he will take the instrument and put them in the trash or in the dustbin or throw them away. But you, as a nurse, you know what we mean by discard the instrument, meaning that you take them to the treatment room, you clean them, then you place them in the appropriate place, or you send them for sterilization, or you put them in the sterilizer to sterilize them. You are not to throw them away. But when you tell a layman, for example, discard the instrument, he will just throw them away. So the same thing here in research. Whatever, maybe what do you mean by discard the instrument? So you define here that when you say discard the instrument, you take them into the sterilization room for sterilization, not that you throw them away. So that's typical example of operational definition of terms. If you check the dictionary of discard the instrument, it will tell you that you throw away. But in nursing, when we say discard the instrument after the procedure, we mean you go and clean them in the treatment room. So the same thing, whichever word you think you want to use, you now tell us how you mean. What do you mean by that in your work? That is operational definition of terms. So this is what entails the chapter 1. One more thing that I want to emphasize in chapter 1 is the number of words that you need to write. In chapter 1, actually, you need nothing less than 1,200 word count. And then the maximum is, which I will mention in the slide, the maximum is 1,500. So at least you must write 1,200 words, and then you must not exceed 1,500 words in the chapter 1, which the title is Introduction. So apart from chapter 1, all other chapters, this one that you write background of the study here, if it is chapter 2, so it will be 2. So all these ones here you are seeing because it's chapter 1. So if it's 2, you write 2. So in all other chapters, you have 2.1 must be introduction. And introduction is that you introduce that chapter that you are talking about. But for this one, why we don't have chapter introduction here is because the whole of this is introduction. The title of the chapter entirely is introduction. So you don't need another introduction. But all other chapters, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, you need introduction. And in the introduction, you tell us what you intend to do in that particular chapter. So chapter 2, which the title is Literature Review. The title of chapter 2 is Literature Review. So in the literature review, we have at least 4 or 5 things that you need to do. Why I say 4 or 5 is some may not include a summary of the literature, but it's good that you have include because it has marks. Then in the chapter 2.1 here, you can put 2.0 because you may don't need it. So you can put 2.0 instead of 2.1. So if you put 2.0 here, then this one will now be 2.4 instead of 2.5. So the chapter 1, it has introduction, it has conceptual review, empirical review, theoretical review, and then summary of the literature. So in the introduction, maybe here you just tell us that what you intend to do in this chapter. So mostly what is being done in this chapter is
literature review. So here you said maybe you can write that this 2.0 in introduction. Then under it, then you write in this chapter we are going to review relevant and related literature that is related to the study. Or you can start by the aim. You mentioned the aim of the study is to find out so the aim of the study will be, you mention it in the chapter 1. I forgot to say this. In the chapter 1 you tell us the aim of your study. So when you say the aim of the study is to find out then you now said in this chapter we are going to review relevant and related literature, and then the chapter will be done under the following headings: 1. Conceptual review, empirical review, and theoretical review. You may add and summary of the literature. So now we come to the 2.1 or 2.2, which is conceptual literature review or conceptual review. In the conceptual review, here you are going to talk about you will talk about your the concept in your topics. For example, assuming your topic is factors contributing to gnosis documentation. So here you now tell us, what do you mean by documentation? What do you mean by gnosis? What do you mean by factors? The concept of factors. Then maybe social person define gnosis as this, while those according to social person in his research he defined gnosis as this. So you now define your concept based on your topic or your research question or your research objectives, the major keywords there. Then you now review them. That is conceptual review, the concept in your topics. At this stage, I don't know if there is any question that you can ask. Okay, so let's continue, even though there is a little distraction. So let me just maybe go back to the we are in the conceptual review. So in the conceptual review, as I said, you will now get the concept, like the relevant definition of keywords that you use in your topics. For example, as I mentioned, let's just say your topic talk about the impact. For example, let me just have an example of a topic. Like this topic that talk about impact of information communication technology on job performance of health workers in specialist hospital Yola, Adamawa State, for example. So now your keyword that you need to define, you have to tell us what is information, what is communication, what is technology, what is performance, who are the health workers, for example. So you are defining the concept. Then you now come back, maybe you join some word cannot stand alone. After you define them, like information, you give information. What do you mean by information? What research said about what information is about. Then you now join information communication. What do you mean by information communication? Then you now talk about information communication technology. You define them. So for example, your conceptual review is 2.2. So then 2.2.1 will now be definition of or concept of information. Then 2.2.2 will be concept of communication. 2.2.3 will be concept of technology. 2.3.4 will now be a concept of information communication technology. So you continue because it's under conceptual review, which is 2.2. So then any other thing that follow will now be numbered according to the heading. Then you now move to empirical review. So in empirical review, virtually, for example, you go back to your objectives. You go back to your objectives. For example, this topic that I mentioned. So the objective, it has three objectives. The one is to assess the level of knowledge and awareness of information communication technology facilities among health workers in specialist hospital Yola. That is one. Then two is to examine the effect of the use of information communication technology facilities on job performance of health workers in specialist hospital Yola, Adamawa State. Then the third is to ascertain the challenges associated with the application of information communication technology in respect to job performance among health workers in specialist hospital Yola. Now, when you come to review your empirical review, in the empirical review, then you now write 2.3, which is empirical review. Now, under that, those three objectives are the ones that you now go back and find researches that talk about one, you write one, knowledge and awareness of information communication technology facilities. So here I didn't mention among health workers in specialist hospital. I remove it. I only put examine the effect, knowledge and awareness of information communication technology facilities. Then you now go back and review literature that talk about the knowledge and awareness of information communication technology. For example, Sani 2002, in his research on examine the knowledge of knowledge on information and find out this and that. Another research carried out in England by person, he do this and that. At least there you have to get at least 5 researches, 5 different research that were done on knowledge and awareness of information communication and technology. Then you are done with 2.3.1. Now 2.3.2, then you go back to your objective, which said examine the effect of the use of information communication technology facility on job performance. Then you now take 2.3.2, effect of the use of information communication technology on job performance among health workers. Then you now get researches that talk about that. At least another 4 or 5 researches that talk about effect of the use of information communication technology facilities on job performance. Then you go to 2.3.3, which is you go back to your objective, which is says ascertain the challenges associated with the application of information communication technology. Then you now said challenges associated with application of information communication technology, maybe in respect to job performance. So you now get researches, different researches that talk about that. This one I'm just citing example. Your objective, you now bring it here on the empirical review. Then you now get researches that talk about it, and then you get at least 4 to 5 research or more on that. Then you now write on them according to so a research conducted in kaza kaza. He find out that. Then you state the findings. Then you now go to your theoretical or conceptual framework. Here there are 2 things that you do. One, you get the theory. You explain everything about the theory. Second, you now apply the theory to your study. For example, you on this topic, you now said, okay, there were different theories that talk about information communication and technology on job performance, but I will choose so theory, for example. So maybe you take health information, I mean what is called theory, you get another theory, then you explain all everything about the theory, everything about this theory. You now explain how this theory is come about, how does it work, what are the factors that were discussed under the theory. Then you now come back and now apply the theory into your study. For example, now based on this, this one that information technology, he used under some behavioral theory, because you want to change job performance, so it's a behavior that you want to change. So you can use health belief model, or other any model that suit your topic. So now maybe, but for example, this one use behavioral theory. Now he tell us about this model is used to utilization of healthcare. The theory was chosen in this study because it is designed to test the hypothesis of the theory or objectives. Then this theory was invented by Anderson and Newman in 19 so year. Then you now tell us what is the content of the theory. Then you now come and say 2.4.2 application of the theory to the study. Now you now apply your theory to the study. Then the next one is 2.5, which is summary of the literature. Then now you now critically review a critical review of the existing work on the variables that you cited, your objectives. Now you now critically review that. In this chapter, in this literature, we look at some studies that talk about information communication technology. Then now you now establish why the need of this your study. So based on this, there is a need for a study that will look at so. Then you now add it. Then you now give a critical meaning of what has been done and what has been left out. So you try to say that this has been done, this is needed to be done. For example, all these researches were carried out in other places, but nothing has been done, none has been done in Yola. So you want to find out. So then you are done with the literature review. Then the next is chapter 3, which is the title is research methodology. The same thing, you now start with your introduction. You start with your introduction because, for example, in this scenario that I give, this one writes 3.0 introduction. Then this chapter dealt with the method to be employed to carry out this study. The chapter was discussed under the following subheading: research design, study area, population of the study, sample size, sampling technique, uh, study instrument, validity and reliability of the instrument, pilot study, method of data collection, method of data analysis, and ethical consideration. Then you now start 3.1 or 3.2 as the case here. Then you now state your research design. For example, the research design for this was a survey research design. It can be a descriptive research design. Mostly at your level, you restrict yourself to these two, either descriptive or survey. So you are to carry out either survey or a descriptive research design. Then the next one is study setting, or setting of the study, or study area. So here is depend on you now describe where you want to do your research. For example, you want to do it in Specialist Hospital Yola, so then you now tell us about Yola, Adamawa State, Yola, then you take yourself to Specialist Hospital. In the Specialist Hospital there, you tell us, like for example, this research was carried out in Specialist Hospital Yola, Adamawa State. The state is located in northeast sub-region of Nigeria at latitude 9.33 degree north and longitude 12.5 degree east, which is the capital city is in Yola. The state was created in 1991 from the debunked from Gongola state, and has since been among the 36 states of Nigeria. Then you continue to describe till when you come. Specialist Hospital Yola has various workers with this and that. This has population of this and that. You now tell us everything about the specialist hospital. Who is the medical the CMD? Who established it? When was it established? Then you now tell us how many doctors are there, how many nurses, how many pharmacists, how many pharmacist assistants, how many laboratory scientists, laboratory technologies, how many wards, what is the source of its power supply, everything about it. Then what cases of health cases were admitted there? Is it a tertiary institution? Is it a primary institution or a secondary institution? You now tell us. You tell the reader everything about your setting. Then you now go to population of the study. In the population of the study, this is to draw the characteristics of the population of your study. That is the total element of the universe covered by the study. Everything about the study, you tell us that your target population. Then you now do your sampling size. You have to get a formula to get your sample size. Then the procedure you use in taking your sample. You tell us how you take and do your sampling technique. For example, it is in Yola that you do that the population is 300. Okay, 302 respondents were selected using simple random sampling. Is this simple random sampling, proportion sampling, whatever sampling you use? Then you now tell us which sampling. Then you now get your formula and get your sample size. Then the instrument for data collection, mostly we use questionnaire, except if you are using qualitative that you use interview. But here mostly we use questionnaire as our instrument for data collection. So you now tell us this questionnaire, did you adopt it or adapt it? Adapting means you just take it from somebody and you use without modifying anything. Adopting, you take it from so-so person, you now add some things. Then you now tell us the validity and reliability of that instrument. So in the instrument, you now tell us this instrument for data collection, the questionnaire, you tell us how many sections does it have. Section A talk about what? Maybe a socio-demographic characteristics of the participant. Section B talk about maybe your first objective. Section C, your second objective. Section D, your third objective. So this is how you will do your questionnaire. That is instrument for data collection. Then validity and reliability, you now check either pest reliability, content validity, inter-rater validity, whatever you use. You tell us how what make your instrument to be valid and reliable. Validity is how the instrument measure what is intended to measure. Then reliability, how reliable it is to that if you take it from here to another setting, how does it measure the exact what is intended to measure? How consistency are the instrument? Then you conduct a pilot study. That maybe a pilot study was conducted to make sure that the instrument is valid. For based on this, some adjustments were done on the instrument for data collection. Then now you tell us which method will you use to collect your data, and which one will you use to do your data analysis. Then ethical consideration. In the ethical consideration, you need to obtain ethical clearance from the study director and from the management of the specialist hospital, which you will be attached at the end of your research work as appendix. Okay, so the next chapter is chapter 4, which is the title is the results or data presentation and analysis. Mostly that's what I want you to write. The title of the chapter 4 is data analysis and presentation. So the chapter don't have much things that you do. One, you make an introduction. In the for example, this chapter dealt with data presentation, analysis, and interpretation. Then in this study, descriptive statistics were used to sort code, present, and analyze data for the conduct of the study. Demographic data were presented in tabular form, while responses from the questionnaire were analyzed using mean and standard deviation. Then you now tell us how many respondents, how many people you use as participants. If these people that you use, like 300, 400 questionnaire were distributed, maybe then how many were retrieved, how many were distributed, and how many were retrieved. Retrieve, how many you get back, how many were lost, because there is tendency that you may lose one or two or more questionnaire. Some people may not return it. So then the presentation, you make a 4.1, which is data presentation. Then you now analyze your data and then present it. Then according to your research questions, that is your research or research objectives. So for that, most of you, if you develop a hypothesis, it is here that you now accept or reject your null hypothesis, because if you develop hypothesis, you have to have the research hypothesis, null hypothesis, and the research hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. The research hypothesis always says no. That is why the null hypothesis always say no. There is no relationship. There is no significant relationship. There is no association between so. Then the research hypothesis always or most of the time say yes, there is. So this one will say yes, this one will say no. But if you come, you can't say that you accept. You only say accept, fail, reject, or fail to reject the null hypothesis. You can't say that you accept research hypothesis. Once you reject the null hypothesis, meaning you have accepted the research hypothesis. So you only reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. You reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. It depends on your significant value already set. So the chapter 5, which is discussion of findings, summary, conclusion, and recommendation. That's the title. So in the discussion of finding now, after you make an introduction, this chapter, which is the final chapter of the study, present the discussion of finding, identifying the key findings, summary of the findings on which conclusion was drawn, and recommendation were also given. Then you talk about the need for other study, implication of the study to nursing, limitation, and then you make suggestion for further study. So In the discussion of finding, how will you do your discussion of finding? Your discussion of finding all what you have getting. Maybe in this research you found out that there is how many people kaza kaza, then you go back and relate it to your literature. This is in line with finding of so person, while it's contrary to finding of so person. All your discussion, you just bring them there according to your research objectives. Then you said either your finding is in line with the literature that you review in chapter 2, empirical review. You now bring it here. Then you compare it with your finding. Is the person that you said that talk about information technology, is it in line with your own finding or contrary to your finding? Then you now state, okay, in this study we find out that so this is in line with so, but in contrary to so this is how you discussion. This one will say yes, in my opinion we do this. Then this one will say no, in my opinion this. That's what entails the discussion. So you discuss everything you are finding with other literature. So here, if you are finding, you have a finding that is not supported by literature, you have to go back and get the literature that talk about your finding. Then you now discuss it. So this is how you do your discussion of findings. Then implication of the study to nothing. Here you tell us after you are finding, what is it relevant to nothing practice? What is it relevant to nothing practice? What are the possible clinical consequences or effect of implementing the study finding to nursing? That is your implication of the study to nursing. How will you apply your finding to nursing? Either nursing education, nursing practice, midwifery education, midwifery practice, and so forth. Maybe your work is more of midwifery, then you say implication to nursing or midwifery/midwifery. So here you talk about how does it apply to nursing practice? How does it apply to nursing education? This is implication of the study to nursing. Then limitation. What are your limitations? Here I don't want people to be saying financial concern and time. No. What are the limitations? Maybe you could have used more participants. Your limitation, if you compare them with others, your own, you didn't use much participants. Most of them use 100, but 500, but you only use 100. It's a limitation. Then you in your own, you use a method. Most of them use mixed method. You only use qualitative. It's a limitation. So you now tell us the limitation of your studies. Then you now summarize everything. In this study, we do this, and that, and we find out there is this, and that. You summarize your study. In this, the aim of the study was set to examine the impact of those in specialist hospital Yola. There is this, and that. You summarize everything that you have done. Literature was reviewed in this, and that. Then you now make your conclusion, and then you make recommendation. After making a recommendation, then you now suggest, based on your own, what do you think you didn't cover that other study can be done? Other studies can be done to find out so. This can be done in a tertiary. Maybe your own is in specialist hospital, maybe a secondary facility. Then you can say this research can be done in tertiary facility or primary facility to make before you can make a conclusion. Before you can make conclusion, then that is suggestion for further study. Further study can be conducted to examine so that you in your study you didn't or you did not cover. Okay, so now we'll now look at the references. Since we have now reviewed some, I will get an insight on how we are going to go about our chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. and then the chapter 5. So now we look at referencing. The accepted form of referencing is APA. That's the accepted. In nursing, generally, we use APA reference style, APA, and then we can use now. Currently, we use 7th edition, but you can use 6. The major thing is consistency. You can be using 7 and then 6. Either if you are using 6, you go about the 6. If you are using 7, you go about 7 altogether. I may share some templates on APA reference style into your group so that you can go through for more information. And then your referencing, the final reference should be alphabetically arranged. All those that start with A shall come first, then followed by B, C, D, E up to the Z. So you can't be putting A, Ahmad at L, Ahmad, then you now come and said Christopher, then you now come back and say Bashir. No, it has to be alphabetically arranged. Then proper punctuation. Actually, the major issue, major things that most of the assessors, project assessors, look at in the reference is how you use your punctuations. That is full stop and comma and when you want to say so and so, which, how will you use it, which I will show you in the next slide when we come to citation within text, that is in-text citation, then how you are going to do your full reference at the end of the work. That is the general reference that you can generate at the end of your work. So now let's look at in-text citation. How are you going to do in-text citation? In-text citation is the reference that you write inside the work. For example, now if it is 1 or 2 before the statement, because there are some that you do before the statement and then after the statement. So when you want to start a statement, then you write author's name. You write the author's name, only the surname, then you write the year in bracket. You write the year in bracket. I want to see if there is an example that I can give here. Okay, for example, now I use my name, Bawa 2024, state that, or suggest that, or find out that. So you see this one come, the auto come first. So you look at Bawa, then space, then you open the bracket, write the year, close the bracket and write comma, state that. Then you now state what I have said. Or after you have said so then you now write it after the what I have said. If I say something now, I discover that people, students have good knowledge. I suggest that student has good knowledge of format of writing research. For example, then you said Bauer 2024, or Bauer in bracket 2024, comma, find out that most of the students that wrote project have good understanding of project writing format, or most of the students don't have good knowledge of project writing. Then in bracket Bauer 2024. Bauer is my surname, my own name is Nasuru, then my other name is Shagari. So that is why Bawa, because it's surname. They say surname and the year. That's why my surname here come here. For example, I look at one name in your WhatsApp group. So I hope I'm not biased. I saw one name, Anna Sani. For example, if it is Anna Sani that wrote, then you said Sani in bracket, open bracket 2024, close bracket, comma, state that she didn't understand she understand the lectures that her project supervisor did. Then the lecture done by the project supervisor is well understood by me. Is well understood, for example. Then you said Sani here, comma, 2024. That is after the sentence or after the program, after what I have said. Now, if it is two auto, then first auto surname and second auto surname, then here, example, Bawa and Sani. So my name and then the name of Anna. 2025. If it is a quotation, add page within parentheses. So like if you want to take exact what I said, that I said most of the students understand the lecture I give on format on writing research. So that one is direct quotation. Then you have to put quote. You quote. You are quoting me. You put quotation. Like if you are talking, you see, you want to say something. Then you said, I put in quote. So I quote, meaning that you directly take my this thing. And in research, you can take directly the idea of how the person write it. This one I will talk about it when we come to issue of turnitin. You know that noun, your work, when we give you, when we are done, if you like, go and copy. Even if your copy come with it, you take it to Malan Zumo. Malan Zumo will put it in the plagiarism checker, and then he will tell you that you have so percentage of plagiarism, which is not accepted by the distance. So what you do, you paraphrase. For example, I said, me on my own research, my own paper, I wrote that most of the students understand lectures, their facilitators lectures on format of writing research. So if you take it like that, when they put it in the Turnitin, it will show. So what you do, then you now paraphrase, you use different words, you change the paragraph, but don't change the meaning. You change the wording, but don't change the meaning. Then you write it. That is paraphrasing. It's my idea, but it is you that write. But you can't just copy me directly. If you take it, it's a plagiarism. And if you have more than 20%, okay, 25 or 30% plagiarism, then your work will be rejected. So you have to be paraphrasing. You have to write as in, it is my idea, but you now change the format of writing. So that is for the two authors. So if it's 7th edition, this is the difference. Here we'll put the page number, and then this thing, the month will be written here if it's 7th edition, but 6th edition don't require this. We'll just require the name and then only the year inside. So Bawa and Sani 2016, state that, then you now continue writing. But if you write, then you now put Bawa and Sani, this time inside brackets, because it's after the sentence. So after the sentence, you put the name and the year inside the bracket separated by a comma. But if it is before the sentence, then the name, then year inside the bracket and comma, then you now state what you intend to state. Hope you are understanding what I'm saying. If you have any question, you just write it on the group and I will take it. So if it is 4 authors, write all authors year and the year. So you write the name of the whole for auto at first time. Then in the if next you want to also cite exact these people, they are more than they are four, then you only write the name of the first auto and then you write at L. For six or more auto, you only write the name of the first auto and then write at L. Hope you are getting what I'm saying. So you can also go through the slide. It's self-explained. So now full reference at the end of your work. If it is textbook, how will you do? For textbook, you write it. For example, this one Bauer SN. Now the SN come in because it's my surname that is Bauer. Then this one is my S is Shagari, my middle name. Then N, my first name, and Sani. Then is uh, A is An. So then 2026 format of writing nursing research, a guide to best results, second edition. So you take note of here after Bauer there is comma, after S there is full stop, N there is full stop, and Sani comma A full stop. Then you open the bracket and then you write full stop here. All this is the punctuation I'm saying that you have to take care of. Then if it is a journal, then Bauer comma SN 2024 malaria infection and sickle cell disease in Yola. Does absence of evidence imply evidence of absence? This is the title. That's the title of the journal. Then you write the name of the journal in italic. See how I write it? This one I just write there. This is not, I hope you know that it's not the name of a journal, but just an example. Journal of not yet out, because I use 2024. Journal of you're not yet out. So this journal is not yet out. So it's not the name of the journal. For example, name of journal, Journal of Nursing Research, America, Journal of this, Journal of that, all these journal. But this one I've used example because it's not true. It's just an example that I give. That's why I did. Then these numbers you are seeing, this one is the issue and this is the volume. So it's issue 94, volume 9. Then comma, then page 713 to page 716. That is where this you will find out this journal title. Then if there are two authors, now I have used Nanyinso King. I saw the name on the WhatsApp and the person know himself is among you. So it's Bawa, comma, SN, full stop, comma. So you see the difference here. You see the difference. There is comma here and Nanyinso, comma, K, full stop. If there is another person, then here will be no and, this comma will remain. Then here you see comma, after K, full stop, then comma. Even if you put the full stop, you have to put comma. Then the integrative review, update methodology, Journal of Advanced Nursing, uh, issue 52, volume 5, page 546 to 553, assessed on 12 January 2024, and this is the DOI. So if you take, what does this mean, HTTP, you know, it's just a website. So when you click on it, or you copy it and paste it, it will take you to this journal. And then the publishers are FoodMed. Okay. So here there is a mistake, the Journal of Advanced Nursing. What's the mistake there? The mistake is this one is not written in italic. So I did it intentionally so that you know you can differentiate the difference. So this Journal of Advanced Nursing is supposed to be in italic to show that it's the name of the journal. So now if it is referencing multiple auto, many auto, not only 2, 3 auto. So you write, you see how I highlight this, I color the comma after needleman, comma, J full stop, comma, bin house, comma, P full stop, comma, matke, comma, S, full stop, comma. So continuously till the last O2, then you write and. Then the year in bracket, nurse staffing level, and the quality of care in hospital. Then this is the journal of medical whatever. Okay, is here. And England Journal of Medicine. National, is it national? I don't know. National England Journal of Medicine, for example. Then you write the page number and then the DOI if there is. Then online source, maybe you source it online. So this is how you do it. Jacob S 2014, the pilot study, wireless monitoring caught heart failure readmission by 27%. Then you state the date, assess 20th January 2018. Then you now put the website, because it's a website, so you put the website that you copy it from. This one is assumed from this HTTP. If you click on it or you take it, it will take you to this book online source. Now let's look at the length of our project, the length of undergraduate project by word count. How many words do you need in so chapter? So in chapter 1, introduction, the minimum, which I have said earlier, is 1,200 and maximum is 1,500. You can't exceed this. That's the minimum and the maximum. So also the literature review, 3,800, and then the highest you can use is 4,200. Then the literature. So all these one, they are self-explained. They are self-explained. Now, at this stage, let's look at after everything, there is what we call, I want you to be mentioning your progress report. How far have you gone with your research? If you are in chapter 1, you write that you are in chapter 1. If you have accepted your chapter 1, you are progressing to chapter 2, you tell me. So when for example, this is an example of progress report. He said, my progress report. This is to inform my colleagues that my research topic was approved. I am to go ahead with my research objective or / research question. It's dependent on how we talk. Maybe I agree with your research topic, then you now tell your colleagues that I have approved it, or you are still we are still on my research topic. So this one, everybody must be writing this on the platform, on the WhatsApp platform, everybody. So another example is this is to report that my research objective were approved and I am to go ahead with chapter 1. So we know where you are. Whoever is liking there, his colleague will know. And if you are behind, you will know that others have gone far. Why? And because I want to, everybody will go together. So this one has to be done in the WhatsApp group. It has to be done in the WhatsApp group. Or you can write, my chapter 1 is approved by our supervisor. I am to continue or to proceed with chapter 2. So all these are progress example of how you will be writing your progress report. Maybe you have written that this this is to report that my research objective were approved and I'm to go ahead with chapter 1. Next report, you are still in chapter 1. Then you now write that I am still in chapter 1, writing my chapter 1. So you have reported. We know where your status. We know where you are. Then now the progress report. When? Is it that you want it daily, if possible, weekly, or monthly? So this one, everybody will write his response in the WhatsApp group on when do we normally write. We agree that maybe at after every week, everybody must on that day. Let's assume we agree on Sunday or Saturday. On that Saturday, everybody must write his progress report. And then now, if you didn't write your progress report, what will be the penalty? Class rep will give us the answer. The group leader will now give us the penalty that we agree on. Is it that we charge the person, or what? Or I shall not look at his work for 1 month? Or how do you want us to? The penalty shall be. You will decide. You will decide. So there are two things that you do. One, you decide and tell me each and every when do we normally write our progress report in the platform. Is it monthly? If it's monthly, is it the last day of every month or the first day of every new month? Or is it weekly? Because that will help us on how to know our progress. Others are going where I'm left behind. Let me just go ahead. So this is just a little what I want you to know, but we are free in the group. If you have any question, you can ask, and you ask it that others can benefit. And then I don't know if you have any question, you now post it in the group for us to see. One more thing that I forgot is the literature. In the literature, actually the number of years. You know that if it is journal, mostly we use journal. Maybe we only use books in the conceptual review and in the method, the research methodology. But in chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, chapter 4, where we use journals source as our source of literature. So now, the only accepted is that the year of the journal shall not be more than 5 years. For example, now we are in 2024. So I will accept papers in 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, and 2020. Anything 2019, don't bring. And if you delay your work again to next year, anything to 2020, I will not accept. So please try and use latest source of your literature. Whatever you are writing, use latest. It has marks because we evaluate you, and there is guideline that we follow in evaluating you. So you must make sure that you use latest, more recent work. Then taking something of 19. The only way I can accept maybe 1980 something is in the theoretical framework. The theory can be as older than us here, but it's relevant. You can still use it to test it and then validate the theory, and then you can apply it also in your work. So that's what I forgot, and then I now added it. So if you have any question, you can drop it in the WhatsApp group so that I can address it. And if there is need, this thing will not help, there is need for online lecture, I can do. We can maybe make a call online, then everybody can ask a question. If you have any question, then you now ask your question, then we can address it. So you can just maybe create a Google Meet meeting, then we now discuss. But I'm sure this thing will serve, since it will be, you can be replicating, you can replay and understand. So if you have any question, then you drop it, and I'm sure I will try as much as possible and take it. Then because of the work and you are many, so I need to have a helping hand so that we can finish in time. Based on that, I will add Musa Zubairu in the group, then who will also help me in addressing some issues. So thank you very much, and I wish you prompt finishing, because I want us to finish within the minimum time. The minimum time is 3 months. So I want us to finish even before then, so that everybody will go and then others may come. Thank you very much.